Welcome back, artists. With all the leaves on the ground, it's the perfect time of year to do a leaf-inspired art project. So what you're going to need is some leaves from the yard. We're going to trace them onto our paper and create a resist. A resist is when we use oil pastels or crayons and watercolor paint over top so that we can see the crayon or the oil pastel showing through. So gather a few leaves from the yard and grab some watercolor paint, and we're going to trace and create a beautiful fall resist. Okay, artists, here's a close-up view of mine. Hopefully you've gathered some leaves by now, and an extra fun element might be to kind of figure out what kind of trees your leaves come from if you want to add a science element to this project. So go ahead and gather a couple leaves. I did 3. If you have a big paper, you might be able to fit more or fewer if you're using a small paper. So I'm gonna switch to my plain white paper and begin tracing my leaves. So go ahead and arrange them in a way that you like. And then grab your oil pastel or crayon so that we can go ahead and start tracing those. I'm gonna use oil pastel, but crayon works just fine too. And then it doesn't really matter what color you wanna outline it in first. I'll go ahead and use this dark green. Okay, so lay them flat. I'm gonna fast forward, but I'm gonna go ahead and outline all these. If you wanna outline them in pencil first, you can totally outline them in pencil first and then go back over top in oil pastel. Okay, great job, artists. Once you get them all outlined, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint mine in a warm color, which is gonna be a red, yellow, orange for kind of those fall colors. You can use any color scheme you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a red, and I'm gonna add the veins of the leaf. And the veins, you know, are these lines you see that carries water throughout the leaf. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of those. I'm gonna start with a straight line going through the middle. And you can look off your real leaf and base it off of how it really looks. Typically you're gonna have a vertical line, kind of a bilateral line running through, and then you'll have some other lines shooting off into the other parts of the leaf. Okay, awesome. Next up, I'm gonna grab some other oil pastels, and I'm gonna make the radiating lines. So I'm gonna trace around these multiple times until I run out of page. So you can see all the lines coming off of this. I'm gonna create that just by going around these multiple times. So I'm gonna choose a purple now. And all I'm gonna do is go around the lines I've already made. And you can make these as wide or as thin as you want. I'm gonna then paint in each section. Okay, once you've done the radiating lines until you run out of space on the paper, we're gonna go ahead and start painting in. So go ahead and grab your watercolor paints and a brush, and we're going to paint in between the lines for each section. Now on my original one, I did try to contrast them by, like I said earlier, using warm colors and then cool colors on the outside to make the leaves stand out. So I'm gonna do a similar color scheme on the next one. However, if you wanted to do green leaves and use warm colors, just make sure you're trying to have a little bit of contrast, otherwise you might lose the leaves in the painting since there's so many lines and a lot going on. Okay, so for my warm colored leaves, I'm gonna start with some red on the base. Once you get the red, I'm gonna go ahead with some orange and start blending some orange into the next part. And then last, once you have the orange done, I'm gonna blend some yellow at the top. Notice how I take the last color and I bring it into the one before. That's gonna make for some nice blending on these. Okay, perfect. Once your leaves are done, we're gonna go ahead and do the concentric circles, or sorry, the radiating lines coming out from the leaves. So I'm gonna use a variety of different colors now, and I'll speed this up while I just go in and kind of fill in all the lines going around. Okay, once my blue layer is done, I'm just gonna continue this way until the whole picture is filled up. So I'm gonna start in with my next one, and then I'm just gonna cut to the finished product. So, because it does take a while, as you'll find. Okay, keep going like this, so on and so on, until you have the whole thing painted in. And if you would love to show us a picture of your resist that you're working on, we would love to see it. Otherwise, I will see you back here next week for another art project. Bye.